Hey guys, so in case anyone feels like this article was too long to read, here is a video summary. The title of the article is Sacked CSs Expose Ruto. These interviews were conducted by people close to the CSs. It's probably them, guys. Starts off by saying that the CSs weren't given a free hand to run their portfolios because of being micromanaged by the appointing authority and a government cartel. They call themselves the Billionaires Club. Continued to say that they couldn't pick senior officials in the ministry and couldn't control who the tenders go to. But honestly, I feel like even if they could control who the tenders go to, they wouldn't go to the right people anyway. The first person who's spoken about is Aisha Juma, who's the fired gender CS. When she was appointed, she bought a house in Loresho, and I quote, "It was her time to eat by cutting deals to satisfy her ambition, only for her to be denied tenders in her ministry." Apparently, she collided with a powerful man in State House and broke. She found herself facing insolvency proceedings. She was in debt. She was sued by Barrage Furniture Limited for failing to pay 60 million. Jobless and a debt of 60 million is kind of crazy, I'm not gonna lie. Sources even say that a number of these female CSs had to fall into sex exploits with these untouchables who have unlimited access to State House. So the article continues by saying that Ruto would call principal secretaries to push lucrative deals and overshadow the CSs. And if it's not him, it's the head of service, Felix Koske. So the next topic is about fake fertilizers. Kel Chemicals Limited denied any links to the alleged supply of fake fertilizers. On April 18th, the company's managing director, Patel Devesh, revealed that he attended a State House meeting with senior public servants moments before his arrest. So Felix Koske calls Patel for a meeting in State House. He gets to State House and I guess they're supposed to have some sort of conversation, but instead he's arrested by the DCI and taken to the DCI headquarters. So now at the DCI headquarters, Patel is forced to write a letter stating that he had recalled the fertilizers his company had manufactured and had already distributed. Also, this Koske guy is the president's Mr. Fix-It, and I quote. This next topic, I was like, yo, the article continues to talk about the ex-CS of education, Ezekiel Machogu. So the ex-CS was sidelined by Koske in a scheme where the Moi University vice-chancellor had to lease 1,500 acres of land to a private investor. Mind you, the school is 3,000 acres of land, so that was half the school's land. Currently, 1,500 acres of that land belongs to a private investor. People who benefited were MP Oscar Sudi, Koske, and members of the first family. Honestly, the thing about these stories is they were just excluded. They wouldn't have said no. You know what's crazy? The school hasn't gotten 1 shilling from this land. They were supposed to get 24.7 million per year. So in the span of those 5.5 years, they should have made at least 120 million, but nothing. What? They said, and I quote, "We got directive from the office of the president through the head of public service, Felix Koske, that we surrender all the land that was being underutilized." Moi University is a public university. Whose job is that? To make sure the land is utilized. Still on education, it is an open secret that Ruto has directed Teacher Service Commission CEO Nancy Macharia to hand him all slots for new teacher employment after he takes thousands to Kalenjin land and hands his friendly MPs 2 slots each. Anything I understood from reading this article is there's no governance in this country. It's just mafia and cartels. So next we have the oil scandal. So Mary Wambui, who's Ruto's 2027 financier, is one of the people who was contracted to supply. Out of 11 companies, 4 belongs to her. The Trade Minister Moses Kuria was brokered by Wambui. After the Americans clocked on the scam, he was moved to the Public Service Ministry. Additionally, he also stated that her company, Pama Holdings, was pre-qualified by KNTC to import. They imported 12,500 tons of cooking oil and sold it to companies associated with the president's insiders, who were single source to procure the oil. The KRA chairman was also in this deal. The KRA chairman. Anyway, so the KRA chairman, Anthony Maura, and Samburu were part of this deal. So for the importation to be approved, wrong law was applied by the KRA National Treasury, Ruto being part of the deal and everything. The president wasn't picking up any of his calls and he wasn't eating State House food at this point. This edible oil scandal cost the country 19 billion. 19 billion. So Raila says in a media briefing that the deal signed in secret are the reasons the cost of fuel is going high and it's only benefiting the government officials. And what he says next is even crazier. He says that Kenya didn't sign any agreement with the UAE and Saudi Arabia. It was in fact signed by the Energy Ministry and state-owned companies in the Middle East. Kenya paid 247 billion to these 3 Gulf oil firms. Additionally, the energy PS was kept in the dark as Ruto oversaw everything. So next is about Susan Nahumicha, who is the previous health CS. So Ruto appointed Irungu Nyakera as the chairperson of the board of Kenya Medical Supplies Authority, then fired health PS Josephine Mburu. All this happened only with the chief of staff Koske being present. Went on to appoint Andrew Mulwa as the acting chief executive of KEMSA, and now the ex-CS of health was left in the dark. Apparently, that billionaire club want to appoint one of their own, so his job is not safe. Additionally, the sacked CSs add that the plan to auction a section of the airport was the work of the cartel, that's cartel, the Billionaires Club. Why the fuck would they even choose that name? The same with the privatization of the Kenya Ports Authority. Being corrupt and calling yourselves the Billionaires Club is so crazy. Mind you, businesses are closing, people are suffering, guys are jobless, Anyway. So the members of this club are former Cabinet Secretary for Road, Transport and Public Works, Kipchumba Murkomen, reappointed CS Chair MP Oscar Sudi, Koske, former KRA Chairman Anthony Maura, Wambui, Nakuru Governor Susan Kihika, and her husband, Samburu, among others. So the last part of the article basically talks about how this cartel basically blocks tenders being given to businessmen that supported Raila during the 2022 election. The last part of the article basically talks about how this cartel basically blocks tenders being given to businessmen that supported Raila during the 2022 election. These supporters, especially from the Mount Kenya region, were terrorized by the Ethics Anti-Corruption Commission and carry over alleged tax evasion and corruption, which is so crazy to me because aren't they the... Anyway. Economic exclusion extended beyond cabinet members to include businessmen and entrepreneurs who opposed. And now there's a whole list of all the businesses that were affected by the cartel and all these other things. You can now go read like the specific businesses and the specific people who were affected. The repercussions of these actions are felt across the business community. They are harassed by state agencies such as the EACC and the KRA. Last sentence is, the broader strategy is to suppress economic rivals and control resources, which is what they're doing. And that's why there's literally no money circulating in this country.